Welcome to week 5 of my carnivore challenge. To be honest, it's been a bit of a crappy week. The headaches have continued, the reflux has continued, and my mood has been really, really low. So, hasn't been a great week. From a stats point of view, the measurements are pretty much the same. My weight is actually down by best part of a kilo, but everything pretty well stayed the same. My fasting glucose this morning, however, was through the roof, and I shall tell you why in a minute. Bearing in mind it's normally about 4.2, it was 6.2 this morning, and my ketones were 0.5. To be honest, I was surprised there were any ketones registering at all. That's going to give you a bit of an indication of what went hideously wrong yesterday. But let's do a little bit of good news first. The good news is that someone suggested a cure for the reflux. And this seemed so out there to me, but I thought, what the hell? I've got some in my cupboard, I'll try it. And they suggested fennel seeds. So taking a good pinch of fennel seeds after you've eaten, either chewing them or just swallowing them with some water. I've been trying this, and I have to say that for the most part it works. So who knew? Fennel seeds. So if you struggle with reflux, try fennel seeds and tell me if it works for you too, because it seems to have worked for me. And interestingly enough, I know in some cultures, and this was discussed on the thread, I started a thread in the Facebook group World Carnivore Tribe asking for advice about reflux, basically, that I was still getting it was still a problem for me and it was driving me nuts. And people suggested all sorts of things, including things like supplements like bile salts and digestive enzymes and things like that, which I'm really not happy going down that route, because I feel, for me anyway, I'm not saying that if you need to take them and you feel better taking them, that's fine. You do you. You've worked out what works for you. But I know that if I'm eating what's right for me, I don't need to take them. So I feel that if I had to supplement in that way, that's my body telling me that I'm not eating the right way for me. And that's the struggle that I've been getting into. Something like taking chewing a few fennel seeds, fine, I'm happy with that. But I really, even if it was just for a short period of time, I just don't want to go down that whole supplement route. I don't think it's the right thing to do when I know that I didn't need them before. So why should I need them now? Maybe I'm wrong, but my challenge, my rules. I've carried on with the magnesium. I found some magnesium citrate tablets, my local chemist, which I do fine with. Unfortunately, my Keto Chow fasting drops have run out. I will get some more when I go over to America to Keto Fest in the summer. I'm going to put an order in for some nice big bottles that will see me through, because I felt that I felt best on those, to be honest, better than on the tablets. So I'm keen to get my hands on some more of those. And there's a link below, so click on that if you want to try them. I really do recommend them. They're fantastic. Headaches haven't been awful, but they haven't been great. And I don't know whether it's the way I'm eating, whether it's menopause starting to mess around with my hormones. I really don't know. That was always when I got the most headaches, was hormonally around my period. So who knows? I don't know. It's really difficult when there are a few things that it could be to identify the cause. As to mood, that worries me. I hate it when my mood plummets, because I've spent so many years struggling with depression. I hate it when I start feeling like that. I hate it when I wake up with that feeling of dread, like it's just going to be an awful day. Like I don't want to get up. I just want to go back to sleep. It's not great. And again, I don't know. I've been reading posts about people talking about menopause and how much it affects your mood. So it could be that. It could be that eating this way isn't agreeing with me and throwing my mood. It surprises me because most people say the opposite. But who knows? We are all unique snowflakes, and I could be one of those snowflakes that it's just not really agreeing with. I won't know until I've given it a good go. I feel like I need to not necessarily see the 90 days out, but I want to carry on at least for a couple of months. And for the most part, my cravings have been really well under control, and that's been a huge positive for me, because I hate that. I hate having cravings, and it's not like I get them all the time, because I don't. But I find myself on keto, unless I'm really strict and go to really keeping it simple, strict keto, I tend to just start having more and more of those things like nuts and cheese and things that I get nibbly at and want to graze on. And then when that carb level pushes up a bit too much, then I start getting cravings for other things. I've got a trip to the UK coming up soon, and that's it. Always tends to go sideways when I go there. It's quite often emotional, seeing family and seeing friends, and everything gets turned upside down, and it's often the time when there's a little slip up that turns into an avalanche and everything goes a bit wrong. So having a good control on my cravings will be a good thing, and keeping it really simple and being determined to see this through, at least to say the 60-day stage, I think will help this time with the trip. Okay, having said all that, having said in previous weeks that it's really helping with my cravings, something went very, very wrong yesterday. I don't know why. I can't think what triggered it. I hadn't eaten anything weird. I'd had a steak the night before out in a restaurant, which was great, just the steak. I don't know, but I had this overwhelming craving that I just couldn't shake. Just all that was in my head were for Snickers bars. I had to get Snickers bars. That's what I wanted to eat, and it would not go away. It was just all consuming. And so I had to go to the supermarket anyway to get some liver and kidneys, which I'm cooking for a friend tonight. I know I should be eating them, but I don't particularly like them. But it's his favourite. So I was going to the supermarket, so I got those for him. And of course, I had to buy the Snickers. And while I was there, I had to buy some ice cream as well. And I came back and tucked into the ice cream first. Really, it's an interesting thing about cravings. The strongest time for me, I'm struggling to think of the word to call it. I can't really call it enjoyment, because I don't get pleasure from eating those foods. But that moment before I bite into it, whatever it is, it's the anticipation. So the memory, which is kind of false because it never equates to what I put in my mouth, but the memory, the anticipation, the build up, the saliva literally starting to run of anticipating that, and it goes in my mouth, and it's like, oh, that doesn't match up. And the first tub, I bought 2 tubs, and I kind of knew when I bought it, I thought I tried this flavour and I didn't particularly like it. So that, I had a couple of mouthfuls of that and it went in. Great way to get rid of ice cream. Such a waste of money, and that's what I hate about it. But a good way to get rid of it when you've decided you're not having it, and that's it. But just to make sure that you can't come back from that, is you put it under the hot water tap and you run the hot water and it goes down the drain, and that's it, it's gone. You can't get it back, because it's no point throwing it in the bin. And okay, maybe with ice cream that's going to work, but if you can get to it before it's melted, I have fished things out of the bin before. So it's a great way to get rid of ice cream. The other tub was less sweet. It was too sweet. It was sweet, it was disgusting, it wasn't very nice. The other tub was less sweet, so I got through about half of that before I just felt completely ill. And the Snickers bars, you couldn't buy one. It was only a packet of 6. I ate 3 of those. And they're just not very nice. You know, the nice thing about it really was the peanuts. That's what I should have done. What I should have done is go off the carnivore rails with keto. That's what I should have done. I should have got myself some peanuts and some dark chocolate or something, and that probably would have scratched the itch. But maybe not, because it was an irrational itch, because I didn't enjoy it. I ate these Snickers, and while I was eating it, it's like, this is not nice. This chocolate isn't nice. It's just not particularly nice. And a good way to get rid of those. I live out in the middle of nowhere. Again, I couldn't put them in the bin. I'm not going to give them to the dogs. So I unwrapped the remaining bars and just lobbed them out into the wilderness that's off the balcony here. So I imagine the slugs and things are feasting on them. But the point is, they were gone. That although I wasn't going to eat any more of them yesterday, I knew I would eat them today. So it was a way of making sure they were completely gone. And actually, waking up today, despite having shocking fasting glucose, I mean, that is a nasty level to have, 6.2. That's not a good level. It doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that there are any ketones at all. But considering that my ketones have been anywhere from sort of 2.6 up to 4.3 or something, I think they were last week, had quite a long way to go down. So I guess it's not that surprising really. Whether they might continue to go down tomorrow before they start picking up again. The point is, you know, I have been keto for quite a long time. My body is fairly flexible when it comes to these, shall we call them, sideways moments. I don't really know what else to say about it, other than just awful. You know, I wish it hadn't happened, and I don't really know why it did, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I don't see it. I don't see it as some kind of massive failure. I don't see it as some kind of, oh, you've wasted these 5 weeks and you've got to start again. I don't buy all that. I just picked up where I left off today and started off with my usual breakfast, and I'm having lamb ribs for dinner tonight, and I just get back on it, and I don't feel awful today. I thought I might be really headachy. I'm not. I feel okay. Cravings, not really, not yet. We shall see. It almost feels like it didn't happen. So I'm just going to try and figure out what went on, what led to that, because it really was all consuming, and I have no idea where it came from. I just hope it doesn't come back again. I really hope my mood picks up, because I don't like feeling miserable. I don't like feeling the way I've been feeling. It's difficult to get things done. It's difficult to do anything, really. Anything, even the most basic things, like even my hair needed washing the other day, and that just felt like this monumental effort. And it shouldn't be, should it? My dogs are my saving grace. I get out every day because they have to have a walk, and that really helps. So I'm hoping it's not carnivore that's caused it. I'll give it another few weeks and see how it goes. And if I carry on feeling rubbish, I'll just go back to keto again, and we'll see if my mood picks up. If it does, then obviously it probably was the carnivore. If it doesn't, then it's something else, and I've got to figure out what's going on. Anyway, sorry for a bit of a downer week. Hopefully week 6 will be amazing. And week 7, I think, is when I'll be in the UK, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, and be interesting to see what happens then, eating with different people, eating out in restaurants, and seeing what happens. So far here, it's been fine. And I can't actually see it being too much of a problem. You know, how hard can it be, really? Meat, eggs, easy. So that's it. Tune in next week to see if things improve. Hopefully they will. Bye-bye.